The Law of Attraction in Action. Putting the Law of Attraction into Action. Narrated by John Hawkes. Introduction. Hello, and welcome to our short introductory guide on the power of the Law of Attraction. Well, more importantly, how to put the Law of Attraction into action for your life. If you're reading this book, chances are you have come across the phrase Law of Attraction at least once before. You probably have watched movies or heard of movies like The Secret. That's how many Americans became aware of the Law of Attraction. Ever since the word got out about this body of knowledge, more and more people are talking about it on social media, mainstream media, and among their circle of friends and associates. Interestingly enough, the more people talk about it, the more mysterious it became. It seemed that the more people kicked around the term Law of Attraction, the murkier it seemed. Now, it's very easy to see why this is the case, because a lot of people are skeptical. In fact, according to these people, the Law of Attraction doesn't exist. They are so close-minded and they are so dead set against this type of thinking that they don't even think of the possibility that it could be real. Others are more likely to believe, but they are still dismissive. For a variety of reasons, they can't quite accept that the Law of Attraction would actually deliver something of tangible value to people's lives. Even if we were to filter out these people, among those who are left, there's still a tremendous amount of confusion. Why? Simple overuse, lack of clarity, and a tremendous amount of subjectivity. The bottom line is that regardless of the confusion surrounding the Law of Attraction, it is real. It changes people's lives. It has a direct and profound impact on how people think, the things they say, and most importantly, the things they do. The Law of Attraction has helped people get over fears, attain their desires, meet the right people, and otherwise make their dreams come true. It really all boils down to using the right framework. In the next part of the guide, we're going to start the foundation of putting the Law of Attraction into action by covering 6 common myths of the Law of Attraction which hold a lot of people back. Part 1. 6 common myths of the Law of Attraction. Unfortunately, a lot of people hang on to 6 common myths about the Law of Attraction, and that's why it doesn't work out for them. Let's go off this myth, and you can rest assured that the Law of Attraction can have an impact on your life. What are these myths? Let's find out. Myth number 1. The law is magical. For far too many people, this type of thinking is really just magical thinking. We're talking about witches, wizards, and the supernatural. The good news? It isn't magical. In fact, it's the complete opposite. The Law of Attraction involves how people edit and perceive their personal reality. Accept it or not, believe it or not, like it or not, you have a direct and profound role in how you perceive reality, act on it, and ultimately shape it. The kind of life you are living right now is, by and large, a product of your decisions. Where do you think your decisions came from? Let me tell you. It's not like somebody pointed a gun at your head and told you to make one bad decision after another. Chances are you have a certain attitude, a certain mindset that leads you to make decisions a certain way. Now, if you presented all the opportunities that you had to another person who had a different mindset, chances are they may end up with a completely different life. There is nothing magical in this situation. The Law of Attraction works with your innate, all-too-human ability to perceive, shape, and ultimately edit your reality. Absolutely no magic involved. Myth number 2. This is all just self-hypnosis or delusion. Another line of criticism points to the fact that since people are enraged in affirmations or conscious and purposely thought, that this is really just an exaggerated form of self-hypnosis. You are essentially just playing mind games with yourself. Well, not quite. The law works because it interacts with how your mind shapes reality. Self-delusion implies that you are looking at things that don't exist. Self-hypnosis suggests that you are seeing things that aren't there. Well, if you follow this guide correctly, you will see things that are there. You're going to be dealing with reality, and it all begins with how you choose to perceive and act on your personal reality. Instead of hypnosis or delusion, you're actually learning the skill of purposely thinking. Myth number 3. The Law of Attraction is just wishful thinking. It's easy to see why people think this way, because a lot of the mainstream depictions of the law of attraction involves people engaged in affirmations. They say certain truth to themselves, oftentimes in front of a mirror. In the minds of too many people, this is all there is to the law of attraction. No, it isn't. That's just a tiny fraction of what goes on. It's an important part, but by no means forms the bulk of this very important process. The law works because it drives you to take action. Let me tell you one thing. You can engage in all the wishful thinking you want, but your life is never going to change until and unless you take action on the things you purposefully think about. The law is able to produce all sorts of amazing changes in people's lives because they are finally, for once in their lives, driven into action. Myth number 4. This is all just about affirmations. Since the common media portrayal of the law of attraction involves people saying certain power words and power statements to themselves, it's very easy to dismiss all this as just self-talk. It's very easy to assume the attitude that the law of attraction is really just about talking about certain realities and willing them to happen in your life. No, it doesn't work that way, because you're not just talking about you talking. It requires you total being. For people to talk, they have to have a certain emotional state. For them to reach that state, they must be thinking a certain way. There has to be a certain assumptions and even expectations that have to be in place for them to even talk. And the law of attraction goes beyond talk because this affirmation has to eventually lead to you changing your actions. You have to understand that your life is a result of your decision and nobody else's. Start making better decisions and you will find yourself at a better place. The law simply just makes this process more purposeful, transparent, and rational. That's how it works. And it operates on many levels. It changes who you are inside, as well as your perception of others. Myth number 5. It's just a one-time thing. For the law of attraction to produce massive positive effects of your life, it involves changing your habits. These changes are so profound, so deep, and so far-reaching that they can turn your life around and they can last a lifetime. This is the furthest thing from a one-time thing. Myth number 6. It requires special time or arcane training. You don't have to spend hours upon hours practicing the law of attraction for you to change your life. In fact, you can incorporate this practice into the daily details of your life. Indeed, for many people, it has become such a seamless part of their lives that they don't even notice. It's just one of the things they do. This enables them to reap amazing results each and every time. And everything flows smoothly because the law of attraction is an integral part of what they do every day and who they are as people. Now, with all the 6 powerful myths about the law of attraction out of the way, this guide aims to deliver daily practical steps you can use to turn the law of attraction from a concept into a reality. This reality can enrich your life. It can enable you to adopt the right habits. It can enable you to live a life of purpose, meaning, and control. The bottom line is actually simple. Are you ready to be the one that makes things happen in your life, instead of the poor soul who constantly asks around in confusion what happened? You have to choose. There really are 2 options in life. Either you are the person making things happen, or you are the poor, unfortunate fellow that things happen to. Which will it be? Part 2. 3 steps to using the law of attraction. Overview. What follows in the next 3 parts are the meat of the book, and is an exposition on the 3 steps you need to take to make the law work for you. Starting with step 1, which is be clear about what you want. Before we get into it further, here's a few guidelines on using the 3 steps. Make sure you follow them. Don't skip any. Take as long as you want with each step, just don't skip any step. Ideally, you should master each step before moving on to the next one. Now, let's get started with step 1. Step number 1. Be clear about what you want. Even if you don't adopt the law of attraction, or even if you're clueless regarding this concept, if you're unclear about what you want in life, it should be no surprise why you're frustrated. Seriously. You shouldn't be shocked that you can't seem to achieve any of your dreams because you're unclear what those dreams are in the first place. Believe it or not, Most people fail because they are unclear about what they really want. They think they know what they want, but they don't. They end up fuzzy thinking, which leads to unfocused action. They move with no certainty. They take action with no intense focus. And this leads to a very predictable series of frustrations or outright failures. Oftentimes, people are unclear because they're simply trying to live other people's lives. Your parents might have all these big plans for you, but those might not be the things that you want to do with your life. I can't even imagine how many lives are ruined when people try to live other people's lives for them. Other people desire certain things precisely because people they respect and admire desire those same things. Well, we are all different people. Just because people that you like want a big house and 5 cars in the suburb doesn't necessarily mean that that's the ideal lifestyle for you. Maybe your values are different. Maybe you look at the world differently. Maybe you prefer being a very educated, experienced, and well-traveled person. This doesn't necessarily mean living in a big house, having many cars, or having a lot of possessions. Your wealth is mostly internal. Different people, different values. Unfortunately, if we desire things because of peer pressure, or we feel that we want certain things because this is what is expected of us, it's very easy for us to live unfocused lives. We just go through the motions. We just follow some sort of preset path. We're not exactly clear why we're doing it, but we're going through the process. This is a surefire way to live a life of frustration at some level or another. You need clarity. Thankfully, there are 3 simple steps to make this happen. The 3 steps to clarity. First, you need to ask yourself how bad you want what you think you want. Do you really want that big house? Do you really want those 5 cars? Do you really want to travel the world every 2 years? If you think the answer is yes, then wrap your mind around these questions. What will you give up to make those things happen? How hard will you work? How long will you go for it? These are important questions that you need to ask yourself because they go a long way in determining whether you are just going along with what other people want for you or what you think other people desire, or there's really something about what you desire. Maybe it really speaks to your innermost values and needs, but you wouldn't know for sure until you ask yourself these questions. The next step is to subject your idea of what you want to the journalist's 6 key questions. What do journalists normally ask when they come across a story? Well, they ask who, what, where, when, why, and how. You should do the same with the things that you think you desire in life. Who is it for? Who is the ultimate beneficiary? Who is involved? What is it really? Does it change over time? Is it complete? Does it go through a process? What parts makes it up? Where do you need to go? Where does it take place? Where did the idea come from? When will it happen? What kind of steps do you have to go through to make the big things happen? Why are you doing this? What isn't in it that motivates you? It is sustainable? Does it speak to a deep and profound personal truth? How do you go about doing it? What kind of resources do you need? Ask yourself these questions for starters. There are many others related to these questions. The more questions you ask, the clearer it becomes. Any hesitation on your part becomes apparent. If you are in any way, shape, or form fussy about the things that you desire, well, it will come up if you ask yourself these questions. Of course, you have to honestly ask this. You can't just go through the motions. Finally, you have to ask yourself, can you visualize what you want completely? This is crucial. If you want to be clear about what you desire, you must be able to visualize it as a total package. There must be no missing details. It can be shallow and it can be a broad outline. It has to be complete. It has to have some sort of internal integrity. If you're able to do this, congratulations, because most people are not able to do this. Why? Most people are just daydreaming. They have a nice vision of the future, complete with a range of positive emotions. The reason why people daydream is not because they are planning for the future. Instead, they want to achieve some sort of emotional state. For example, if you have been unemployed for 6 months and money's running tight, you can easily fall into the trap of daydreaming about being in a business suit, getting a lot of respect, and spending a lot of time at that corner office. But that daydream is worthless because you're doing it only to get that range of comforting emotions that enables you to get out from under the pressure you're in now. You're under a lot of pressure to find a job, put food on the table, or pay the rent. When you daydream, it feels like all of these troubles are gone because you get that glimmer of power, satisfaction, and a sense of completion because you imagine yourself in that corner office being at the top of the corporate chain. This is not enough. The positive emotions that you get when you are daydreaming are very powerful indeed, but they are not enough. This is not the kind of visualization you should do to clarify your personal vision, so you can make it happen in your life through the law of attraction. You have to do something else. It's not completely different, but it's different enough. Be like Michael Phelps. I know that's a tall order, but hear me out. Michael Phelps, of course, is the greatest Olympic gold medal winner of all time. He has won the most gold medals in the Olympic. No small feat. Talk about amazing discipline. Talk about amazing personal power. When asked about his secret to success, he was pretty straightforward. He said that he has this technique where he would play a mental movie of him winning each and every swim meet. When pressed, he said, and was pretty straightforward, I would play this imaginary DVD of me jumping into the pool and, stroke after stroke, I would play that image until I feel like I'm almost there. And then I would essentially act out that movie when it's time for me to perform. When you are able to visualize with that much detail, you become very focused on an alternate reality. You then visualize where you start at the end, where you won the gold medal, got the amazing job, met the perfect member of the opposite sex that can be your future husband or wife, or found the perfect job or business opportunity. You visualize everything in clear, three-dimensional details, and then, here's the secret, you walk yourself from the end all the way to the beginning. In other words, you imagine yourself with a completely different life, in a completely different place, and then you rewind the DVD, so to speak, until you end up to where you are now. Then you play it forward again, and you keep repeating this over and over until you get a roadmap. That is the difference between the Michael Phelps type of mastery and unstoppable victory and simple daydreaming. Sadly, the vast majority of people would rather daydream because there is a quick and cheap emotional payoff. But all these positive emotions are not going to put food on your table. You definitely cannot eat them. Here are the steps that successful practitioners of the law of attraction use to turn their vision into a reality they can see, smell, taste, touch, and hear. Every day, they visualize their vision. They write it down, they read it, erase it, and write it down again. The next morning, they read their vision, visualize it, erase it, and write it down again. When you keep doing this, you start burning physical channels into your brain's neural complex. According to research studies, when people keep repeating the same thought over and over again, it actually creates physical connections in how their brains are wired. They're not just thinking about an idea. They're not just kicking around the concept in their minds. It actually has a physical effect on them. It actually changes the physiology of their brain. By living out that vision and walking yourself from the beginning to the end and all the way back again, and then erasing the vision and reciting it or writing it out from memory, you create those physical connections. And eventually, these physical connections have a profound impact on how you view reality, how you feel about the situations you found yourself in, what you choose to talk about out of habit, and your behavior. Let me tell you, the world doesn't care about your feelings. It couldn't care less. It doesn't have the luxury of time to indulge you in that. It also doesn't care about your intentions or what motivates you. Who cares? Hell, after all, is paved with all sorts of good intentions. But do you know what makes the world pay attention? When you actually do something. When you're clear with your vision, the law of attraction starts to work in your life because you now have a clearer map, and all the things that you need to be in place to take action are slowly beginning to change. The way you look at your reality, the way you connect the dots in your life, the way you feel about certain things in your life, all of these are happening. They may not be all that perceptible to you, but they are taking place.